Welcome to The Money Hour with host Tina Mitchell and co-host Keelan Harvey. Tina Mitchell, MLO 145420, and Keelan Harvey, MLO 1330075, are licensed loan originators with Gateway Mortgage Group, LLC, and MLS 7233. The views expressed by the speakers on the following program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of Gateway Mortgage Group, LLC, nor are they necessarily endorsed by Gateway Mortgage Group, LLC. Now, in the studio, local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome to the Money Hour on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, November 17th show. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And co-host Keelan Harvey.
We're your local mortgage experts bringing in expert advice and inside knowledge in today's local events in our economy. You know, I'm trying to give you a hard time, Keelan, so I'm having a hard time actually saying my words. And I'm just going to go there right now. I gave you a sheet of paper and exactly what I want you to say. So just a little opening here with my co-host, Keelan. He has this thing in his mouth to try to straighten his teeth, and what's it called?
It's a Smile Direct.
Yeah, like, you hear the way he said smile. He's already slurping a little bit.
A smile. It's
so what do I want you to say today? Strategically strategize.
Strategically strategize success to be successful. Strategically strategize success to be successful. Oh my God, that was a bad one. That's pretty good. That was a bad one.
It was awesome, Keelan. No, it's
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's okay. Right, but it's kind of fun having him in the office and listening to, you know, I was in speech therapy, so I had a difficult time with my F's, my P's, my R's, and my S's, and it seems like you're definitely F's, R's, and S's are very challenging for you.
You have to think. I don't know if you do or not. You have to try to think about it, but the more you do, the worth it is.
So here we go. It's going to be a great day to show as Keelan gets used to his new guard thing that he has in his mouth. Anyways, if you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but we're here to answer any questions or connect you with the guests that we have on the show. You can call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And our lineup for our amazing show today, we have Randy Banneker with Banneker Public Affairs ClearPath Partners. Are we ready for the 1.8 million people? Also, we have in studio Carrie Haas of Windermere Real Estate, Bellevue Commons, and Carrie Haas Real Estate, strategies for success in this current market. And our last guest in studio, Danielle Madrid of Havens Community Connections, domestic violence. Great information and great guest in studio. For more information on any topic discussed today, or again to get connected with our guest, you can call the show at 1-855-400-1150, 1-855-400-1150, or online at themoneyhour.com. And we'll start the show today with a little money chat.
Money.
I am a latent industry leader in the mortgage space, but I'm also a time management and business efficiency coach. I help our realtor partners and business professionals take control of their business so they can take control of their life back. I do this through my One Time Your Business 8-week burn. It's a live virtual online course to really just implement some proven techniques and tools into your business model, because the business efficiency that you have will determine the business success that you have. Now, there are 3 mind shifts in one timing your business. The first mind shift is rejoice in your small successes. The second is take the hard road, which represents change. And the last mind shift in spirit of one timing is embrace your failures. Today, I wanted to bring in and expand a little bit on rejoicing in your small successes. Now, this is not just business, but it's also a lifestyle. Wake up every morning alert to all the surprises waiting just for you, because when you watch for them, they show up everywhere. And what an amazing day it will be. So watch for the small miracles, and they'll show up every day, all day long. If you're waiting for the big ones, you might be waiting for a very long time. So having ordinary moments become extraordinary ones, small moments becoming your defining moments. And watch for all the beauty in life and see the beautiful life that you can live. Now, you don't have to be great to get started, but you do have to get started to be great. Extreme actions are needed to produce extreme results, but it's the small steps that will get you there. So the small changes build the foundation that you need to support the big results that you want in your business. If you have never heard the story of the Chinese bamboo tree, look it up on YouTube, because it's amazing. And if you didn't know, it takes 5 years for the Chinese bamboo tree to grow, but once it takes 5 years for it to break ground. Once it breaks ground, it grows 90 feet in 6 weeks. So that's really what the small rejoicing in your small successes is you have to build that foundation, watering and fertilizing it in order for it to support the massive growth that you want in your business. Now, you cannot leap up a flight of stairs. You have to take one step at a time, so don't rush the process. I just turned 50 years old this year, and now I know what with age becomes wisdom. So you can't become 50 years old overnight. It takes time to get there, and you've got to crawl before you can start walking. So the small successes that you make today will produce the success that you want tomorrow. Maybe it may take a little bit longer, but that's why rejoicing in those is really important through the process. So why are some people willing to, or they're more willing to do a crash diet than to make the small steps needed to have a healthier life choice? And the reason why is because those crash diets give instant result, but the reality is it's not sustainable. And so take those small steps, because that's going to allow you to sustain, again, the success that you're looking for in your business and in your life. So believe in every small step that it matters, because it does. It matters in the biggest way. Make small changes and they will produce a compound effect or have a ripple effect. So I just wanted to bring that in for today, because it is my show, so I can do a little bit of shout out of some of the things that we're doing that stand out that really can help make a difference, not just in your business life, but in your personal life as well. Wake up every morning excited to get out of bed instead of waking up feeling stressed out about having to start your day. So go to onetimeyourbusiness.com, and it's a $99 investment to hang out with me live for 8 weeks. And that's your Money Chat. Coming up next on the Money Hour, are you ready for 1.8 million people? Randy Banneker with Banneker Public Affairs, Clear Path Partners, right here at 1150 a.m. KKNW, after the short break.
Are you thinking about buying a home but are just unsure how to get started? Are you thinking about selling your house but are concerned it's becoming a buyer's market and that you missed your best opportunity? Stop worrying about the rising cost of housing and stop renting so you can put your money towards your own future.
Hi, I'm Carrie Haas with the Carrie Haas Real Estate Team, and we have options for you. I help you navigate through the process of buying and selling your home from beginning to end, ensuring that you make educated decisions and are well represented and protected. I have a proven process to help you buy for less and sell for more in this changing market. We partner with you to strategize your purchase or sale for the highest and best return on your investment. We have solutions for every budget and situation. From the time you start thinking about it through closing and beyond, my exceptional top-notch team of professionals strives to exceed your expectations and bring you the best possible results so you feel secure and well represented. I treat every client like my favorite aunt, uncle, cousin, niece, or nephew. We've helped hundreds of people sell their house and find their home, and we want to help you achieve your goals. To learn more about what I can do to help you succeed in this market and reach your goals on time and within budget, call or text me at 206-719-2224 or email me at carrie@windermere.com. That's KARI@WINDERMERE.com to get more information or for a no-obligation consultation with me. I enjoy meeting people and would love to meet you and see how I can help you best.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell.
And co-host Keelan Harvey.
Your local mortgage experts right here at 1150 AM KKNW. The November 17th show is a great day to talk money. That is what the show's all about, how to make money, how to save money, and have a better quality of life for you and your family. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but we're here to connect you with the guests that we have on the show. Please call in at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And in studio right now, Randy Banneker with Banneker Public Affairs, Clear Path Partners. Are we ready for 1.8 million people? Randy, thank you so much for coming back in studio. It's always a pleasure to have you here and to hear all the latest information that you have to share with our listeners. So thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Great to be here.
And a little bit about Randy. Randy Banneker is president of Banneker Public Affairs and founding partner of ClearPath Partners. Randy has been engaged in our region's critical issues for more than 20 years. He has extensive experience advocating complex, high visible, and controversial land use and public policies initiatives. He protects his clients, imagine while achieving political successes. He builds lasting relationships for his clients and ensure their continued success. Randy is active in the region's business community and has developed strong relationships with opinion leaders and elective officials. His community service include Chair Business Issues Forum of Seattle Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce and Assistant Scoutmaster for Senior Scout Advancement with Seattle Boy Scouts Troop 186.
So, Randy, growth in the region remains staggering. My first S.
There is staggering. Say that a few times.
Staggering.
You're giving me a complex.
I've heard as many as 1,400 people are moving into Central Puget Sound each week. Is that just a temporary phenomenon?
Well, no, not unless something really awful or extraordinary happens, like an earthquake or a severe downturn in the economy or some combination. The Puget Sound Regional Council, which is the government entity that tracks population growth and job growth, is telling us that there will be 1.8 million people coming to our region, Central Puget Sound, by 2050, a little more than 30 years time. So that's the equivalent of 2.5 Seattles, size-wise. And those folks are going to need about 830,000 housing units.
Wow.
So
I was going to say, so go buy a house, people. I mean,
before we run out of places for people to live.
Right? Yeah, rates are still low. It's time.
Right.
So, Randy, how can communities not be overwhelmed by that growth? And what is the region doing right now to be able to prepare for this massive growth in our area?
That's a great question. You know, the good news is we've got a planning tool or structure that we've had for more than 20 years. It's called the Washington State Growth Management Act.
Yes.
And that calls upon regions, counties, and cities to plan to accommodate growth. The challenge is we haven't taken it as seriously as we should. We need to really recommit to the notion of planning to become the great region that we're becoming. I was at a conference last week and saw State Senator Guy Palumbo, and his area is Bothell, sort of straddling King and Snohomish County line there.
What amazing growth they're having.
Well, exactly. And what he said is that at this point, we need to decide that we're going to make the Growth Management Act work, or we should throw it out and solve for sprawl. And that is it in a nutshell.
So how can communities make the Growth Management Act work?
Well, you know, I think the first step is that political buy-in and broad commitment. It's important that the public accept the fact that you don't get to choose whether or not you grow, but you can choose and guide how you grow. I mean, we are a free society. We do not have the ability to put up walls, and we don't want it, right? So the time now, what we ought to be doing now is agreeing that sprawl, kind of a Los Angeles pattern of development, is not our goal, and that we ought to start thinking about how to make compact urban development really work for us.
And I would say the last time the growth management was ever changed was when? I mean, it hasn't, right?
Well, no, there have been minor tweaks to
minor
it.
changes.
And, you know, I would say that a lot of people say that the answer is to push out the urban growth boundary, to make more buildable land available. I think, you know, that question is down the line. The first thing we can do a lot more with using the land we have more efficiently.
Yeah. So, Randy, as our community grows, is there worry, or are you worried about the maintaining the community quality and livability?
I'm worried, and your listeners are worried, and it's legitimate.
Yeah.
But think about this. So many of us have visited Paris, right? And I think we look around, that experience for us is a really positive experience. We think of Paris as offering a very high quality of life to its residents and visitors. So Paris is a city of 2.3 million residents. And the reality is you can fit the geographical size of Paris in North Seattle.
No way.
And this is an analogy that Matthew Gardner, who's Windermere's chief economist, has presented. I think it's a great way to think about it. And Paris's density is mostly low-rise density. It's 4 stories or so. And so this tells me we have a lot to learn from other major cities, and we can do a lot with low-rise development that doesn't create some of the canyons of multi-story towers that some people are really concerned about.
So, Randy, we had Troy Thiel on our show, and we talked about Thiel. Jeez Louise, I'm never going to escape it. And he was talking about with the housing prices increase, and I mean, went bonkers. Also, on the flip side of that sword is the affordability and that gap that's been created. Right. So what about the affordability piece with all of this?
Well, obviously, affordability is a huge piece of quality of life. And what I'm worried about right now, and I'm sure you see it in your businesses, is the middle class and what options there are for first-time buyers and for move-up buyers. And there aren't many options. They're needing a lot of cash for a down payment, and they're taking out very large loans, historically large loans, right? And so that leaves a lot of people on the sidelines if they want to live in the core of our community. I think there's some answers to that. I think you can't overlook the law of supply and demand. We need supply. And adequate supply will moderate prices. And you can do that. That price moderation can be done either increasing the supply or eliminating the jobs. And I think the first choice is better.
Yes,
the second choice, eliminating jobs, in all seriousness, we can't take for granted our economic vitality in this region. Look at all of the cities around the country that were competing for the Amazon headquarters.
Yes,
they're not in as great a shape, and so it's a delicate balance. And so I think we have to come to terms with how to get that new supply in place.
Yeah, and you've talked about, needing a lot of cash to come in with down payment. And I mean, there are so many low down payment options, down payment assistance. You can get it in conventional with a 5% down without paying monthly mortgage insurance. But the challenge is a consumer's own personal payment objective and where they feel that they can afford on a monthly basis. And that's where they're feeling they need all of this cash to come in with. And, every $10,000 in down payment is $50 a month in a payment, or every $10,000 in cash coming in is $50 savings a month in a payment. And that really isn't that much. It's you need a lot of cash to really make a big impact. So Randy, what else do you see needs to happen?
Well, we talked about Paris. So Paris, if we were to take some lessons from Paris or Vancouver to the north, they've done a lot with multifamily.
Yes.
That would have us revisiting our zoned capacity, the intensity of our zoning. And that would mean looking at kind of the periphery of single-family neighborhoods and looking at opportunities to go a little more multifamily. And along those lines, related to that would be condominium liability reform.
So, Randy, let's talk a little bit about what's the issue with condo liability?
Well, so right now, the condos that are coming out of the ground, new construction condos, are largely luxury condos at $1,000 a square foot. Great product, but again, it's leaving out the middle of the market, the middle class. This is largely due to the state condominium law creates a situation where any new project, the new buyers typically are forced with their fiduciary responsibility to sue the builder. This makes the builder's insurance tough to get, and once gotten, it's expensive. That has to be then baked into the ultimate price of the product, and it discourages the smaller projects from happening. So there will be some legislative activity during the upcoming state legislative session, not to step on consumer protection, but to make it easier for those more modest condominium projects to get built. and to be put into the marketplace, and we desperately need them.
Yeah, and it's so interesting being in the industry for almost a quarter of a century. I mean, you're not used in just in the recent years that we've had such a complete stop pretty much on new construction. And so it's just interesting when there's the challenges and things that come up, different things changing and trying to find those solutions for it. So Randy, in getting back to the quality of life, how can we ensure that we're building great communities and not just crowded communities?
Sure. Well, I think one thing that I would start with was let's make sure we provide ownership opportunities. I think home ownership really is the path to building wealth, and it has been in financial stability. So let's not lose sight of that. For planning, our planning efforts have too often looked in the rearview mirror. They try to be defensive about a project they didn't like. We need to talk about what we do want to have happen. And again, there are great models out there. I think we can get smarter in terms of thinking longer range, much longer range. We are a community that is here for good. I think it's fair to say that.
Yes.
And let's think that way, and let's think like a world-class region. So let's start to articulate what we want the look and feel of the region to be, and what sort of additional employers we want to bring into the region, and take action to get those folks here and get that planning and zoning in place.
You know, and Randy, I mean, they always say that follow the employment and the growth in the community to really see the bottom line of what's going to happen in the market. And a lot of people are freaking out in the market. I think the reminiscence of the 2008 thing, you know, and it's just not, I mean, there's just so much growth and so crazy. And our geography alone here in Seattle, there's only so much land. So I really don't think you can lose, you know, at this point. You know, home ownership is a really important thing. Is there anything else that you can think of with that our listeners can do to help and, you know, improve our scenario?
Well, Keelan, I think you're right that being bullish on this region is a really smart bet. We have got a very attractive place to live. We've got a great underpinning economy, and that will continue if we're smart about it. And and I think where listeners can engage is think about being a part of the solution. Communicate with your elected officials at the city and county level. Support them in taking tough decisions, tough votes on land use.
Yeah.
Sounds
Randy,
wonky, but it's really important.
It totally is. Randy, thank you so much for coming back in studio. Always a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks
and I appreciate
so much.
Again everything that you're doing out there for us.
Thanks very much, too.
Coming up next on the Money Hour, strategies for success in the current market. Carrie Haas of Windermere Real Estate, Bellevue Commons, and Carrie Haas Real Estate, right here at 1150 AM KKNW. After this short break.
Are you thinking about buying a home but are just unsure how to get started? Are you thinking about selling your house but are concerned it's becoming a buyer's market and that you missed your best opportunity? Stop worrying about the rising cost of housing and stop renting so you can put your money towards your own future.
Hi, I'm Carrie Haas with the Carrie Haas Real Estate Team, and we have options for you. I help you navigate through the process of buying and selling your home from beginning to end, ensuring that you make educated decisions and are well represented and protected. I have a proven process to help you buy for less and sell for more in this changing market. We partner with you to strategize your purchase or sale for the highest and best return on your investment. We have solutions for every budget and situation. From the time you start thinking about it through closing and beyond, my exceptional top-notch team of professionals strives to exceed your expectations and bring you the best possible results so you feel secure and well represented. I treat every client like my favorite aunt, uncle, cousin, niece, or nephew. We've helped hundreds of people sell their house and find their home, and we want to help you achieve your goals. To learn more about what I can do to help you succeed in this market and reach your goals on time and within budget, call or text me at 206-719-2224 or email me at carrie@windermere.com. That's KARI@WINDERMERE carriehaas.com to get more information or for a no-obligation consultation with me. I enjoy meeting people and would love to meet you and see how I can help you best.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell.
And co-host Keelan Harvey.
Your local mortgage experts right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, November 17th show. We're here to help you build a strong financial blueprint 1 week and 1 show at a time. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to rebroadcast, but we can connect you with the guests that we have on the show or answer any questions that you have. You can call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And in studio right now, Carrie Haas of Windermere Real Estate, Bellevue Commons, and Carrie Haas Real Estate. Strategies for success in the current market. Carrie, thank you so much for coming in. First time in studio with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, and a little bit about Carrie. Carrie exudes a passion for real estate that carries through to every client wherever you are as a buyer or a seller. Carrie's business practices are steeped in philosophy and commitment, honesty, integrity, and excellence while loving her clients and developing a strong team to produce the best results. Prior to becoming a managing broker, Carrie owned her own graphic design and marketing firm. 6 years ago, Carrie brought her leadership and business expertise, her keen attention to detail, and her eye for beauty to real estate industry, often exceeding clients' expectations and rising to the top agent in her office. Carrie specializes in selling more and buying for less while managing the process and providing support, guidance, knowledge, and education so you can feel confident from beginning to end.
So, Carrie, we ended our session there with Randy talking about a call to action for people to, get out there in the market and purchase a home. But you have the kind of traditional sense of the market being the wintertime to the spring. In your opinion, should you be buying and selling a home now or waiting until the springtime, do you think?
Really, any time is a good time to sell. It really depends on your situation and, your where you need to be, whether it's for school or for work or if you're moving in and out. It really depends. But any time is a good time to sell. In the winter, there's just not as much available, and people still need to move. The buyers are definitely out there. I'm still having multiple offers on my listings right now and seeing an active market, even though it has slowed down slightly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's interesting because there's a balance in anything. So if there's not a lot of people listing, it is a benefit because you don't have the competition. Your home's going to show a lot nicer. On the other side, it may be a little more challenging because you don't have as many buyers out there in the market. So I love what you say. It really just it depends on whether it makes sense and whether it's in your strategy right now or not. So Carrie, people are talking about being in a tough and a challenged market right now when the reality and, kind of getting some opinion from Randy as well. And Keelan mentioned a little bit. I mean, if you look at employment and you can guess where the employment's going, real estate's going to follow. So we've got so much opportunity in this market. It's just we have definitely seen a big shift. And that's where it's causing a little more challenges. So when people are getting their homes ready in a market that has a little bit more challenge or seeing a shift like we are, what do they need to do to really prepare?
Well, first of all, we call it a challenge, but really the truth of the matter is we're just coming back to a normal market.
Yes.
So we really haven't had a normal market in this area since 1998.
That is crazy.
That's 20 years.
Wow.
So really, we don't know what a regular market feels like, and so it does feel more like buyer's market, but it's really it's just equaling out.
Yeah.
And while the buyers are able to have a little bit more leverage, and the sellers need to rein their expectations back ever so slightly. Really, you can't expect a 15% growth region-wide.
And you would agree. I mean, really, this is what we all want in the industry is to have more of a balanced market because it is best for everybody in concern, right?
And especially with so many people moving to our region right now, it's really important to, keep your eye on the fact that we need this slowdown in order for us to succeed as a community. So our pay is high. If you compare us to San Francisco or New York or any of the other major cities in the country, we're still very affordable in general. So you still have people coming from other regions to our area, and they're looking for homes. So it's important to get in there and get started as soon as you can.
Great advice.
So, Carrie, in a normalized market, there's more inventory. And so how can you differentiate your home from other homes on the market with the inventory we have now?
Well, it's really important to present yourself in a move-in ready fashion. The buyers today really want to feel fresh when they come in. They want that fresh carpet and paint and to feel like they can make it their own and not to feel like they are taking over somebody's projects.
Yeah. So in making a decision on what type of work and things that you want to do in remodeling, what do you advise your sellers or homeowners that are thinking to do something improvement on their home? What makes most sense?
Well, if they're my clients, we actually go in with our team and help them determine what is important to present that face. It might be different for every situation. And we do have a team that will come in and help them get everything done so that they have less that they have to worry about. We try to make it as stress-free as possible. We even have people who will come in and organize and pack and help them prepare for moving. It's a really emotional process to move. Whether you're buying or selling, this is the place where you've either raised your family or gonna live and come home to, and it's important to be able to focus on that and not have to do it all yourself. It's nice to have a team behind you.
Definitely.
That's awesome. That's like a whole nother level of service. That's fantastic. It gets some of that off their plate, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, that's a good reason to choose a broker, but what else are your thoughts about who you should be looking for in a real estate broker, or what qualities or traits? What defines a good broker?
I think you're looking for somebody who is looking out for your best interests and also has the experience and knowledge behind them in order to get the job done. We've got a ton of agents in our area, and you really need to feel comfortable with the people and be able to trust that they're going to have, your back.
Yeah.
And I always, give the number of stats are stats, and 80-20 rules works in everything. But I always, we all know there's 20% that are doing 80% of the business, and then you have your 1 percentile that are really killing it in the market. So I don't know about anybody listening to the show, but if I was buying real estate, I'd be working with the best of the best or selling. So critically important on who you're choosing to work with. So Carrie,
So true.
Because I know you work in different areas and helping your buyers and deciding what market is going to be best for them. But if you were purchasing right now another property, where would you be investing your money for the biggest bang to your buck?
Well, this really speaks to what Randy was also talking about, which is there's so many people moving into the area, and really the businesses are also moving. So they just announced Boeing is moving a number of jobs out to Kent, and we've got people also moving out to Bellingham. And so I really feel like the area between Seattle and Tacoma and Seattle and Bellingham are really important for investment right now, because I've got a lot of my downtown Seattle investors, they're looking at downtown Tacoma. And that really says something to me. We've got some beautiful views going up the south that way. And there's areas that have, gentrified, such as like Glen Acres over by West Seattle. That area has beautiful downtown views, and there's a lot of great space that has been untouched or
Yeah, and you know what great news, Carrie, because those areas are still so much more affordable. We were talking with Randy about the affordability issue, and so if you can get in and grab out in some of those markets that people are not thinking about as much right now, except for people that are investing a lot, like you said, in real estate. So I love that.
and schools really are great out there as well.
Yeah.
It's you need to take another look.
I'm a West Seattleite, by the way. I love that town, and my parents were lived in Tacoma for 10 years on like the Stadium District. You haven't made fun of me once in this segment, Tina. I'm
You
I'm waiting for
deliberately
it.
did that.
Yeah, seriously though.
So now it's T's, S's, D's, and
It's all of it. It's just I'm speaking through plastic right now. So, what about some options? Let's change gears a little bit for baby boomers looking to downsize.
Well, you've got a number of different options. So, when you're living in a home, you could either stay there. You can look at getting a smaller home, a Rambler that doesn't have stairs. You can move into a condo. There's the assisted living, and then there's also the buy-in type of situation now where you buy in and then you get a percentage back at the end of life, and it really takes you through the end. So there's actually a lot of different options that people don't know about.
yeah, I don't know about that option.
And that's another thing so my team really looks at each client and strategizes to help them figure out what their best situation is. So whether you're a first-time home buyer, I really need to be thinking about whether or not you're going to be having babies, or whether you want to be
Sure.
walkable, or whether you want to be close to parents or work, or if schools are important to you and whatnot. So depending on where you are in your stage of life, I have a team that really looks at all of that for you, and it's different for each client.
Yeah, well, if you want walkable, don't come to my neighborhood in Newcastle, because we're just not on the list there. So what about millennials?
Newcastle is fabulous, and it is becoming much more
Oh, it's
walkable. There
amazing.
is a lot more.
Really?
That fruit
Where
stand
can we
is
walk?
You can walk to the fruit stand,
But not
and you
where
know
I'm,
what?
I'm actually up on past the stadium, up at that big hill. So I'm not walking to that fruit stand.
Walk the trails. We have
Yeah, they
tons
are
of beautiful
beautiful.
trails.
They are
and,
beautiful.
And
I love Newcastle. We've been there since December of 2004, and I just love it. I love how it's outside of the city, but you can get to the city easy. But yeah, my stepdaughter always gives us a hard time about how we don't have anything like Seattle does. Whole nother conversation. So Carrie, as we're wrapping up our time here with you today, can you share a little bit about the team that you have that supports you?
I am super lucky to have a really exceptional, high-quality team with me.
We got a couple of them here today hanging out with us in studio.
I
Love
do.
it.
I do. I have my operations manager, Darren Costa, is here. He came from the mortgage industry, and he is really a financial guru. Besides making sure that everything is happening, he is a licensed agent, and he does support me and my team. And then I also have Zelly Retman here with me, and she is my social media and marketing person, and she does a fantastic job of making sure that all of our properties are seen by lots and lots of people.
Yeah, that is awesome. And having that team support is so important to the success. Go ahead, Carrie.
Yep.
Yeah.
I also wanted to mention that I have another agent, Scotty Brown, who works with me in the South End. So because the South End is becoming such an important piece, we do have an agent who works solely out there in Tacoma and the Kitsap Peninsula, because a lot of people are moving from here over to Poulsbo and Port Orchard, where it's only an hour commute, and it's a nice commute on the ferry rather than having to sit in the traffic and drive that commute.
Yeah, love that. And it's funny that one person of your team doesn't get to be here because somebody had to take care of business while you guys were in studio hanging out with us, right?
Very true.
Yeah. Well, Carrie, thank you so much for coming into studio, and excited to have you come back again in the near future.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
And coming up next on the Money Hour, domestic violence, Danielle Madrid with Havens Community Connections, right here at 11:50 a.m. KKNW, after the short break.
Are Are you thinking about buying a home but are just unsure how to get started? Are you thinking about selling your house but are concerned it's becoming a buyer's market and that you missed your best opportunity? Stop worrying about the rising cost of housing and stop renting so you can put your money toward your own future.
Hi, I'm Carrie Haas with the Carrie Haas Real Estate Team, and we have options for you. I help you navigate through the process of buying and selling your home from beginning to end, ensuring that you make educated decisions and are well represented and protected. I have a proven process to help you buy for less and sell for more in this changing market. We partner with you to strategize your purchase or sale for the highest and best return on your investment. We have solutions for every budget and situation. From the time you start thinking about it through closing and beyond, my exceptional top-notch team of professionals strives to exceed your expectations and bring you the best possible results so you feel secure and well represented. I treat every client like my favorite aunt, uncle, cousin, niece, or nephew. We've helped hundreds of people sell their house and find their home, and we want to help you achieve your goals. To learn more about what I can do to help you succeed in this market and reach your goals on time and within budget, call or text me at 206-719-2224 or email me at carrie@windermere.com. That's KARI@WINDERMERE.com to get more information or for a no-obligation consultation with me. I enjoy meeting people and would love to meet you and see how I can help you best.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell.
And your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
Your local mortgage experts right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, November 17th show. We bring into studio each week the best of the best experts in all areas regarding your money. We're here to support you in today's market. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but to connect with the guests that we have on the show, please call us show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. In studio right now, Danielle Madrid of Havens Community Connections, and we're going to be just discussing and talking about domestic violence today. And Danielle, I want to thank you as well for coming in first time in studio. We've got a couple newbies in here, so thank you for spending time with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of
Thanks so much, Tina.
And a little bit about Danielle. Danielle Madrid, founder and executive director, has survived domestic abuse and is now thriving. Recognizing the social stigma and unique financial complexities when abuse occurs in affluent relationships, she created Havens Community Connections to specialize in breaking the silence of hidden abuse and these situations. Havens' overall goal is to help every woman needing assistance to build a life raft to safe and healthy futures regarding their financial situation. And I just really love it. One of the things that I loved about having this platform and being able to bring a lot of different unique people and their unique messages is that you see over and over again that people's tragedies allows them to triumph and bring their message and their uniqueness to the world. And I just wanted to give a shout out for that, Danielle, because I'm really excited to have you here.
Thank you.
So, Havens Community Connections. So, why Havens, Danielle? Is there a story behind that?
There is a story behind Havens. Havens was born out of my own story. Mm-hmm. I have survived domestic violence both in poverty and in affluence. And what I noticed that the only thing that changed was my tax bracket.
Yeah.
And my experience trying to get out was much different in both situations. When I was poor and hadn't yet finished college and had a degree, people were more likely to believe me. Living living in poverty and living in a trailer park and that type of thing. It was a totally different environment. There was much more believability. There were far more resources because I didn't have a lot. I didn't have much money. Mm-hmm. I was a single mom. So resources were readily available to me. People would believe me. They weren't surprised by behavior, but yet living in affluence, something happens when you're in an environment when your peers are highly educated or work in a corporate environment, we tend to think that, well, that doesn't really happen to people like us. So it's more dismissed. People are I wasn't as believed. It was harder for people to believe.
That's
I
interesting.
mean, when your husband is you're living in a poverty-ridden trailer park.
Yeah.
And people will believe you, but when your husband or significant other is a corporate executive, maybe a leader in the church, he's teaching Bible study.
Makes sense.
That's a really hard sell. And the resources that were available when I was much younger weren't there for me. I couldn't financially qualify for any of the resources, even though there were resources. Not everybody has access to resources just because they're there.
Sure. So what does Havens offer for women?
We offer a unique coaching program. We have coaches, and I chose the word coach over advocate. So when people think about coaching, we're not life coaches.
Okay.
We're just women who have been there. And I think because words matter, when I think about the word advocate, it feels like victims need advocates.
Yes.
A coach just feels so much more dignified. It's a peer-to-peer type of relationship. It's empowering. So we have a coaching program of women who have been there, and we've gone through not only our own experiences, we're well on the other side of domestic violence, but we've gone through a 2.5-day training program that the therapists on our team have developed to help us to walk very successfully with our clients.
Yeah, I love that. And in the spirit of one-timing, which is the coaching program I do for business professionals and our real estate partners, is the solutions are the same. It's a plug and play, but it's being able to provide solutions that are unique to what these women are going through. And you've already been there, as well as the other women that you work with. That's where they're going to find their answers. And so it's really powerful.
We help them to connect, hence the Havens Community Connections.
Yes.
We walk beside them, supporting them, validating their experience, and we help them to connect to the resources that they can find very helpful. Normally it's our first responders, the therapists who specialize in domestic abuse, the lawyers, the family law attorneys who understand domestic violence, they're experienced with and have comfortable with some high conflict divorce. That's going to be important. Financial advisors. Maybe she needs a locksmith, a window cleaner. What does she need? We have the resources that when she's ready to jump ship, she's got a life raft.
Yeah, love that.
Well, you kind of leaned into like a stereotype, like affluence, and how people don't think that is, related to domestic violence and, people in poverty. That's a poverty problem, which isn't true. And it's not true also that there isn't domestic violence with men is on top of, women, which most people think it's a woman thing. It's a problem in general. And it sounds like you guys serve men too. Is that correct?
We would love to serve men. Here's the thing is that 1 in 4 men, 1 in 3 women find themselves victims of their own relationships. However, if we would love to serve men, if we had more men who have been in abusive situations and abusive relationships steps forward to say, hey, I've been abused and I would love to help. They're just not.
Yeah.
I mean, as women, as coaches, women who have been there, we can't walk in the shoes of a man who's been abused. That's a completely different experience.
Yeah.
So we would love to have men step forward and join our team.
Yeah.
That's
to help.
interesting.
Because you need to have that support from a man that was going through that, versus the women aren't going to be able to have that same connection with a man that's going through abuse as another man would.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's a call to action. If we have any listeners that are listening to the show right now, our men listeners that have been through abuse and feel that they've gone through the healing process and they have something to be able to support and have that passion to give back, definitely call into the show. So, Danielle, what are some of the signs to look for to recognize that you're in an abusive relationship?
Well, first I want to say that abuse isn't necessarily about anger management. Abuse is a mentality of power and control. It's about wanting to exercise power over another human being. And we all know about the obvious, the physical abuse, but we don't often talk about the other signs, the verbal abuse, the emotional abuse, the financial abuse. I mean, it can be something like your partner always texting you, wanting to know your whereabouts all the time, isolating you from family or friends, wanting to monopolize your time.
And do you see that normally leads to a higher level of abuse or another level added on to that, or?
It does. Abuse never stays static. It never just stays the same or diminishes. When there's an element of power control, it will increase.
Yeah.
The severity of the abuse will increase over time, as will the frequency. So it never gets better.
Yeah.
Well, I have a daughter at home, as we all know, London. She's going to be 3 in February. I'm certain that it's probably an issue for children, too. Is there help for kids?
We don't provide direct support for kids as far as our coaching program goes, but we do have the resources to help moms and hopefully soon dads to be able to locate those resources that they can find to help their children. And really, one of the biggest ways those of us who have been in abuse can help our children is simply by getting out and getting ourselves healthy.
Yeah. So I'm sure that this is a big challenge in a lot of abuse situations, to where you have a friend or a family member that knows that there's some type of abuse going on, and maybe is giving advice but not the right advice, or maybe is afraid to give advice because their friend does not want to hear it. And so what advice would you give to someone that knows abuse is happening? What should they do? What are the proper steps?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. And the first, I would say, not to be confrontational, not to be judgmental, not to say, hey, he's really a jerk, you should really leave him.
Yeah.
But come at relate to your friend or family member with empathy and compassion. Hey, I noticed that I haven't seen you around for a while. You're not really hanging out with us as your friends very often. What's going on with that? And is that okay with you? Or I've noticed that your partner is texting you an awful lot. How does that feel? How does that make you feel? What's going on with that? It's really important not to be judgmental in any way or confrontational. It's really compassion.
I like what you were doing, because they were questions. They were direct questions to allow that just opens up and we all know that in sales and business, you ask questions so that the answers and the solution to what they're looking for is actually coming from your client. And so same thing here, is you really want to ask those specific questions and allow that to open up. And I'd imagine if they don't really expand on that, you can ask it a different way. So just opening that space for them to be able to communicate what's really happening. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, love that.
So Danielle, how can people get connected with Havens?
Well, we're on Facebook, and we have a website, havenscc.org. That's HAVENSCC.org. You can email us confidentially at liferaft@havenscc.org, or you can call our helpline. That's also very confidential. Everything we do is confidential, and that number is 425-610-8612.
So, and that's great to know that the platform, and no matter where they're at, everything is strictly conversation. So the conversations are strictly confidential. So the conversations that you are having are really intimate in that space. So when you talk about coaching, is this a group coaching, one-on-one coaching? How does that look?
It's one-on-one. So when somebody will call the 610-8612 hotline or email us, she'll be connected with first somebody who will just ask questions, find out what her or hopefully his situation is, determine what the needs are, and then match that person with the coach that best fits their needs. And it's really up to the coach and the client to develop the type of relationship that works best for them.
Got it.
It's personal, just one-on-one.
Do you do the coaching as well, Danielle?
I do.
Yeah. Okay. Love that.
So what do you find that people need most as far as help out of the gate? Like, what do you guys provide? Like step by step? How does that usually work? Is it case by case type thing?
It's case by case, but we need help as well, Havens as an organization.
Oh. We
definitely need help.
So talk about that. How can people assist and help?
We can, because of the current climate, we've been seeing an influx of calls. So one, we do need more coaches.
Okay.
Men and women to come forward who have been on the other side to say, I want to help. And we also do need funding. It's really as little as $90 will help one person. $90 will give somebody a month's worth of coaching support.
Wow. Okay. Well, Danielle, as we're wrapping up our time here today, what would be a final word of wisdom coming from the space yourself that you would give to someone that might be listening today that's going through some domestic abuse?
You're not alone.
Yeah.
And there's help, and don't be afraid to speak out.
Love that. Well, thank you so much for coming in and spending some time with us on our show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
And this is Tina Mitchell signing off for the day.
And your stuttering co-host, Keelan Harvey, with my mouthpiece.
Love it. We'll be back here same time, same place next week, next Saturday, right here at 11:50 a.m. KKNW. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Tina Mitchell, MLO 145420, and Keelan Harvey, MLO 1330075, are licensed loan originators with Gateway Mortgage Group, LLC, and MLS 7233. The views expressed by the speakers on the preceding program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of Gateway Mortgage Group, LLC, nor are they necessarily endorsed by Gateway Mortgage Group, LLC.